my turn to kind of go over what's been going on with the Eagles. And up until about 48 hours ago, it was a relatively quiet offseason. As most teams, a lot of players go, some players come in, and you don't really know how everything's going to mesh together. However, yesterday's big news, the kind of the end of the saga of Jalen Hurts' contract extension. Big news, as 5 years, $255 million, nearly 180 of that 255 is guaranteed to go along with that no trade clause. Couldn't have happened. Raider Jim brought it up earlier. Could not have happened to a more deserving player. I think everything Jalen Hurts has gone through, you go back to him at Alabama in the national championship game, gets benched, and in this age of transfer portal, doesn't take, and I don't want to say the easy way, but doesn't take that way out. Instead says, no, I want to graduate as a member of the Crimson Tide. And if I have to beat Tua out, I will. He actually doesn't beat Tua out. However, Tua does get hurt. I believe halftime of an SEC championship game, the final year, Jalen Hurts wins them the SEC championship and then does very well in the playoff to kind of come in, and then ends up having to go to Oklahoma. And I think there were a lot of people who doubted him there. He goes, and I believe he won the Heisman, or at the very least he was a finalist, and then gets picked by the Eagles, who everyone thought had their quarterback. Once again, myself included. I thought it was a bad pick. I didn't know what the Eagles were doing. And now Jalen Hurts, if he didn't get hurt towards the end of the year, I think he would have been MVP. And if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, he would have undoubtedly been Super Bowl MVP. So this is a very a deal that for the moment makes him the highest paid player in NFL history. I assume in the next month, when Cincinnati and Joe Burrow get everything finalized, Burrow's deal will be 256, just because that's how agents and players want to do it. That's fine. I'm sure Jalen Hurts thinks it's fine. He's getting his bag. Joe Burrow, as I said, more than likely will get just a little bit more to kind of, get that market pushing up a little bit. Elsewhere, unfortunately for the Eagles, one of my, favorite players, Miles Sanders, he's moved on. He's heading to Carolina. And then the Eagles do bring in former Aztec for life, Rashad Penny. And they also bring in El Gigante Pequeño, a.k.a. Boston Scott. He's been re-signed. And there's been a lot of talk about the Eagles possibly at that 10th overall pick, picking up Texas running back Bijan Robinson. That would be a nice pickup as well, to kind of go with that three-headed beast in the outfield, or in the backfield. Watching too much baseball, apologize. On the other side of things, three of the Eagles legends, three players that I think will end up in the Eagles Hall of Fame, maybe get their numbers retired. Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey, and Brandon Graham all signed one-year contracts with the Eagles. I know Graham and Kelsey turned down a bigger, longer-term deals from other teams to come back. So hats off to them. As of right now, looks like they're going to retire as Eagles, but they are only one-year deals, so we'll have to deal with this all over again. And then in one of the, I would say, weirder offseason stories not involving Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers, Darius Slay, he was actually released by the Eagles, and in the morning, and by essentially the night, he had re-signed with the Eagles. I think he went out there thinking the grass was going to be greener elsewhere, realized, everyone's pretty much offering me the same amount of money as the Eagles. I might as well go back to Philadelphia, where I know I have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. And then in a more traditional re-signing, James Bradberry also got an extension. I tell you what, two other free agent signings the Eagles have brought in to supplant the defensive backfield. Cornerback Greedy Williams. What a name for a cornerback, by the way, Greedy Williams, and safety Terrell Edmunds, both been brought in to, let's be honest, they need to shore up that backfield, that defensive backfield that was exposed in the Super Bowl by Patrick Mahomes. So I really do think that's going to be something to keep an eye on for the Eagles going forward. But obviously the big news in Birdland is Jalen Hurts signed up for the next 5 years. And I think that really does set a great, keeps that window open, if you will, for at least 3 or 4 years. I don't expect Jalen Hurts to regress. I don't expect Jalen Hurts to go Albert Haynesworth, where he gets a big contract and then disappears. Just listening to the way this guy talks, everything he's gone through, I don't think this changes him. And I'm also going to give him a huge shout out. He is, I don't want to say the only, but I do want to say the first, because I'm pretty sure about that, first NFL player to be represented by an all-female management, agent, marketing, communications, all of that, all female representation. That's fantastic. Good for him to entrust that to them, and great for them to show that that loyalty truly does pay off, and hopefully set the groundwork for other athletes, either this firm or other female-led firms, to get into the game as well, not just in football, but in all of sports in this country. So it's going to be very interesting going forward for the Eagles. But like I said, I think with Jalen Hurts at the helm, the future is bright.